Hi everyone, it's TJ90 here. Do you want a tactic that is guaranteed to get you goals? Then look no further as we test this tactic and we get some incredible results where teams just absolutely dominate the leagues they're in with goals scored, and also we pretty much get the top goal scorer every single time. But before we get into the video, if you could all do me a favour, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know if you enjoy this video. This is the first time I've done a tactics test. We're using the tactic that we've been using with Borussia Dortmund in the spirit of 97, which is one that I created myself. And so if you've got any recommendations on areas you think it should change, if you really like it, let me know. Let's have a look at it. Honestly, the results in this are incredible. Yes, hello everyone and welcome to the first tactic test for this channel. It's the first tactic test I've ever done as well, even just as like a casual FM player. I've never done this before. It is inspired by a couple of comments in one of the Spirit of 97 videos of Borussia Dortmund, where in our second season we were on a 12 game winning streak in the league, and a few people asked for a breakdown of the tactic. It's nothing special. It's a tactic I've come up with myself. It's not a downloaded tactic. It's something I just created to suit the way I wanted my Dortmund team to play. Few people in the comments of that video asked for a tactic video, and I thought, you know what? Let's go the whole hog. Let's do a full-on tactic test. So we're doing it with 12 teams. The first part of the video is going to be with 12 teams, and the second part of the video is going to be with 5. So yeah, for this first part of the video, I'm going to break down the tactic, basically the roles that I'm using, and there's only really the odd individual player specific role, predominantly on the inside forward, on the left hand side or the right hand side, whichever you choose to play that inside forward on, depending on the personnel you have. Obviously, it is personnel dependent. This layout is the layout I had for my Dortmund team because it suited the players that I had and their, the side they preferred to play on based on what their natural foot was. The only real player specific role is this one on the inside forward, and that is purely just for him to sit narrower. That is all there is to it. With one of the teams I've got using this, I'll go into the teams I'm using at the moment. I have swapped these round. So the BWM, the ball winning midfielder, is on the left hand side because the player is left footed who is playing in that role, with the BBM on the right side and the shadow striker on the left side. Basically all I've done is just swapped, like literally just swapped this here, swapped it round, but kept the other roles the same. We were doing this in 4 leagues with 3 teams from each league. I will show you them now. So we've got my team, Everton, we've got Spurs, we've got Norwich, we've got Lyon, we've got Stade Rennais, Troyes, Napoli, Fiorentina, Venezia, Sevilla, Valencia and Mallorca. You will notice there's no Bundesliga teams, and that's because obviously this tactic I primarily tested it in the Bundesliga in the spirit of 97. So I wanted to try it in a few different leagues. This is for the first part of the video. We're picking a traditional top 4 team, a team that have been regularly in the top 4 in the last 5 seasons. Obviously, those of you Premier League fans may ridicule Spurs. Yes, they have not been in the top 4 in the last season or 2, but ultimately they are a team that up until very recently was regularly in the top 4. Obviously, they got to the Champions League final only a few seasons ago, so we are classing them as our sort of top 4, outside top 4 challenging team in the Prem. Everton are the top 10 team. And Norwich are a newly promoted team, and you'll notice that as a theme that is running throughout the rest of the teams. You pick Lyon, traditional Champions League team for France. Stade Rennais, or Rennes, as you may know them, top 10, pushing for European football. Troyes, I believe, have only just been promoted. Looking at their squad, they definitely look like they've really got that sort of recent newly promoted quality. Napoli, pretty much always in the Champions League in Italy. Fiorentina, previously, going back 10, 15 years, were usually kicking around in the Champions League with the likes of, Gabriel Batistuta. Fallen down the pecking order a little bit in that regard, but, they're a team that are obviously, trying to get back up there. Venezia, newly promoted team in Italy. Then we've got Sevilla, perennial winners of the Europa League. But currently in the Champions League. Valencia, previous Champions League team, especially when you look at the likes of, Rafa Benitez is Valencia, etc., like that before he went to Liverpool. And then Mallorca, they are predicted to finish bottom. So we basically picked a team who Obviously challenging for top four and potentially a title. Teams that in Football Manager you would pick with a view to challenging for the title, I would suspect. You would probably pick Spurs with a view to trying to challenge for the title, Lyon trying to knock PSG off their perch, Napoli trying to break into the Milan-Juventus dominance, and Sevilla trying to break that Madrid and Barcelona dominance. They're the teams I've gone for. This is a tactic that in our second season, we broke the Bundesliga record for most goals, most wins, and we also won a domestic double. We only got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League in our second season. We got knocked out by Man United. But in our first season, we did get to the Champions League final using this tactic where we lost on penalties to Inter Milan. Let's get into the tactic. It's really simple. I'm just going to basically break down what each role is for you and the instructions. I will make the tactic available for download if you want it. I'm going to put a link below just for a public file share site where you can pick it up if you want to try it. Let me know in the comments what you think, anything you would change on it, or if you try it and you have success with it, also please do let me know. Let's look into the tactic. So we are currently just loaded in with Venezia. I've left the tactic blank for now, just so you can see what the roles are without any players actually picked for that. Like I said, it's nothing radical. It's just a tactic I came up with, which seems to have worked really well for me. It's a very high press tactic, so obviously it might be something that you try, but you might not actually have the personnel for to begin with, but you can certainly try and build up to the familiarity with a view to then bringing in the players that you want to make it work. Like I said, it worked very, very well for me. Initially, when I created the tactic, it did not start out like this. It started out as a back three with a flat four midfield and then two in behind the striker. But we tweaked it, especially early days. FM22 beta crosses seemed so overpowered where we decided to go for a flat back four just to try and provide a bit more stability. And we initially actually had the advanced forward slightly off centre. I had Erling Haaland, so I shifted him over to the left, but I found he was drifting far too wide and not getting in the box, right in front of goal as much. So I made him more narrow, and that made a huge difference. You got about 97 goals or something like that across the 2 seasons playing in this role. It definitely reaped the rewards. And as I said, in that second season, we got a record number of wins and record number of goals for the Bundesliga. I'll just break it down. Standard sweeper keeper on support, fullback on support, ball playing defender on defend, central defender on defend, wing back on support, ball winning midfielder on support. But sometimes I will play that on defence. It's one of those, it's a very flexible tactic. You can sort of adapt it based on the opposition you're playing against. If you want your ball-winning midfielder to sit a little bit deeper, if you're playing, a much more superior opposition than yourself, and you want someone to be a bit more disciplined, by all means, put him on defend. Box-to-box midfielder, Jude Bellingham in that role, smashes it, picking up the ball here in defence, and then just driving forward to get into the box. He's so good at that. Inside forward, on support, shadow striker, obviously only comes with the attack role. Inverted winger, but this can equally just be a winger. Inverted winger for me at the moment is Karim Adeyemi. He is left-footed, hence why I play him inverted. But before that, I had Torgan Hazard, who is right-footed, so I played him as a winger. So, it's very flexible. I just play him as a winger, whether it's inverted or as just a normal winger. And that is purely just based on the foot preference of that player. And then an advanced forward. Simple as. In possession, we have got pass into space. And we have got the overlap left on the side with the inside forward, with the wing back. If you decide to swap that and you want to have your inside forward on your right hand side, the wing back then put the overlap on the right hand side, and then the underlap is on the side of the inverted winger. To focus on feeding the ball into that shadow striker, really, who is pushing in this particular instance, from this right-hand side. So I'm wanting the winger to be looking for that shadow striker running through into the midfield, into the box. And that's where I want him to be passing the ball. Equally, theoretically, you could argue it would work with a BBM. I've just been using it with the shadow striker, and I found it to work quite well for me. But equally, if you decide you want to play the inverted winger on the left-hand side, I would probably put that shadow striker on the left-hand side if that's what you wanted to do. Basically, whichever side you've got the shadow striker on, have the look for underlap on that side and the overlap on the side with the inside forward with the wing back bombing over the top. Higher tempo in possession, slightly more direct because we're passing into space. The fullbacks for me have been very good at playing a ball in behind the defence for the likes of Haaland or Moukoko, and they've just always been getting in behind the defensive lines and scoring goals for fun. Hit early crosses. Again, that is just to try and feed into the striker. The advanced forward running in behind it just suits that pass into space. Dribble less because we just want the players passing the ball forward as much as possible. So yeah, that's what we do with that one. Also, one thing that is important to mention is I have also loaded my set piece routines from the Dortmund save just to try and make it as accurate as possible to what we have been running. And you can obviously play for set pieces if you want to, if you have particular proficiency at set pieces in your team. In transition, it's very much build out the back. So we distribute it quickly. We distribute it to the centre backs and the full backs. Counter when we haven't got the ball, and counter press when we haven't got the ball, and counter when we do have it, and take short kicks just to complement that play out of the back possession style play. Out of possession, just go with the standard defensive width if you want. Again, this one I find it's very much based on the roles that the other team has. If they're playing with inside forwards, I often will try and force them outside because that doesn't suit what the inside forwards want to do. If they're wingers, I will often try and force them inside because, again, that doesn't really suit what they want to do. Standard defensive line with a slightly higher line of engagement, preventing that short goalkeeper distribution, trigger the press more often, and tight marking. That's all there is to it. It's very simple, I think. I just seem to have had really good success with it. So a few people asked for a tactics video, so that's why we're doing this tactics test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to implement this tactic across the rest of the teams. I'm going to simulate a season and we're going to see what results we get. Hey everyone, so the results are in. I've been doing this for about 2 days now. I've done 2 tests. The one we obviously discussed with the 3 teams from La Liga, Serie A, the Premier League and Ligue 1. We had a few mixed results, but one thing we were guaranteed was goals. So, in every division, we had the top goal scorer, Dusan Vlahovic for Fiorentina, and you'll also notice that Jose Callejon and Cristiano Baraghi, also Fiorentina, came first and second in the assists table. In Ligue 1, we had Moussa Dembele, clear winner there in the goal scoring chart, with Guirassy of Stade Rennais coming up in third. We had Xherdan Shaqiri with 29 assists, leading the way there. In the Prem, we had Calvert-Lewin, 35 goals across the season. And in Spain, we had Maxi Gomez of Valencia and Fernandinho of Mallorca coming first and second, and a clean sweep for Valencia in the assists. All 3 Valencia players getting the top 3 spots in the assist table. So in terms of outcomes, we had 1 title, 2 Champions League places, 1 Europa League place, 2 Conference League places, 2 relegations, and 3, technically 4 sackings, but I'll go on to why the 4th one I think was possibly a game glitch, to be honest with you. But we'll get onto that in a bit. So who won the title? Who do you think won the title? If you said Lyon, you'd have been wrong. If you said Spurs, you'd have been wrong. If you said Napoli, you'd have also been wrong. But if you said Sevilla, you'd have been close, but you'd have been wrong. Valencia, they won La Liga. Here is the table. You'll see Valencia there in first place, 4 points clear of Real Madrid. 95 goals they got, which, as you'll see in a second, was the top number of goals for the season. Mallorca, who, let's remind everyone, were tipped to finish 20th place for Mallorca, came 7th, got a Europa Conference place. Sevilla were the disappointment. They came 8th, and it did look touch and go. I was keeping my eye out on the sim as it was going through. Job was under threat on numerous occasions. Got to the semi-final of the Copa del Rey and got to the first knockout round of the Champions League, where they got knocked out 3-2 in aggregate by Bayern Munich. But yeah, Mallorca for me was the biggest shock. They did that well. They were beating the likes of Barcelona. I think they beat them like 3-0 or something at one point at home. Valencia just stormed it. I mean, to be fair, if you've got the top goal scorer and you've got the top 3 assisters, then you would expect to win the league. So yeah, as you can see there, Valencia most goals, 95 in the season. Far outstripping anyone else. 16 goals clear of Barcelona, who came second in the goal scoring charts. Top performers for Valencia, as you can see, Maxi Gomez, 40 appearances, 10 assists, 39 goals. Yunus Musa, 14 goals and 11 assists in 35 appearances. Gonzalo Guedes, 39 assists, 11 goals. Carlos Soler, 13 and 10 assists and goals. And then Jason off the right wing, 12 assists and 9 goals. Mallorca, we have Fernandinho with 25 goals in 37 games. Jordi Mbula with 12 goals in 38 games. He was the inside forward, if I remember rightly. Takafusa Kubo, I'm pretty sure I played him as the shadow striker. So he got 10 goals in that role. Aleix Fibas, I think he was in the middle. That was it. Jordi Mbula, I think, was the inside forward on the left. And Kangin Lee, we made him the inside winger, I think. So as you can see, he got 12 assists. Sevilla still had some good performances. We had El Nezri getting 28 goals as the advanced forward and Oscar getting 16 goals as the shadow striker. Lucas Ocampos with the 15 assists off the inside forward role on the left. Ivan Rakitic as the BBM getting 11 assists, box-to-box midfielder, and Suso as the inverted winger getting 10 assists. That was the outcome in La Liga. Now, when we come to Ligue 1, Lyon were top until about the last 10 games, maybe, and then PSG just closed the gap. PSG didn't lose in 15 games. So as you can see, though, Lyon still came second, 90 points, 103 goals, just one behind PSG. Only lost 2 games. PSG lost 3, but it's the draws which caught up with Lyon in the end. It was just too many goals against, compared to PSG. Stade Rennais, they were one of the sackings. Got to about, I think we were sacked in March, April time with Stade Rennais. Troyes were the other success story. Tip for relegation, came 16th. They don't have a very strong squad, so I think that's quite a good outcome there. As you can see, PSG there, 104 goals, Lyon 103. But Moussa Dembele top scorer, so again guaranteed goals. Here we are looking at Lyon. If you look at Moussa Dembele, in 50 appearances, he got 58 goals. That is just unreal. Houssem Aouar was the shadow striker, 25 goals and 17 assists. Xherdan Shaqiri getting 32 goals and 11 assists as the inverted winger on the right-hand side. Lucas Paqueta as the BBM, I'm pretty sure I played him as, weighing in with 10 goal contributions in 44 games. And Rayhan Cherki as the inside forward on the left-hand side with 15 assists and 4 goals and 50 appearances. Troyes, Ripper Art with 21 goals in 36 games. Patrick Roberts, 10 goal contributions, 39 games. Tristan Dingame, he was the shadow striker. And Chevalerin, I believe, was the... I think he might have been the box-to-box or the right-sided winger. I can't remember now. And then Levi Lumeka, he was on the left-hand side. Patrick Roberts, he was on the right-hand side. That was it. Patrick Roberts on the right. Dingame as the shadow striker and Chevalerin as the BBM. Here we go. Stade Rennais sacked, as you can see. Guirassy getting 43 goals and 40 goals and 43 appearances. This screenshot of stats is taken from the point at which we were sacked. I was able to keep an eye on this one, and once we got sacked, I was able to jump back in and get the screenshot because I was interested to see how Guirassy's stats were doing. So I've been keeping an eye on it over the course of the season. I kept jumping in, coming off holiday on one of the managers and just checking to see where things were at. But yeah, Guirassy was an absolute goal machine in the advanced forward. Lovro Maya, he played as the shadow striker. And Gaëtan Laborde played as the inside forward the inverted wing on the right, with Terrier as the BBM and Doku. No, was Terrier might have been on the right hand side, and I think Laborde, him and Terrier alternated that side, and Doku was the inverted inside forward on the left, and I think Bourigeaud was the box to box. Premier League. So Spurs, we were sacked as in December. Now I think we were 12th or 13th when we got sacked. I wasn't able to get a precise screenshot at the time, but they didn't do any better after we left. They brought in Julian Lopetegui, and as you can see, they actually ended up dropping further down the league. They only got 39 points. Harry Kane, when we got sacked in December, he was on about 23 goals as the advance forward, with Dele Alli on 15 as the shadow striker. And you'll see in a minute how they did after we got sacked, because I screenshotted the end of the season. Norwich got relegated, and I think that's quite unlucky when you look at they scored 55 goals over the course of the season. That's only 2 behind Chelsea, who came 5th. But it's the goals against it. The defence obviously just was not good enough. When you look, they won 9 games, which was 2 more than Burnley and Brentford, but it was the defeats, the sheer number of defeats, which told in the end. They actually finished level on points with Brentford. It was the goal difference, as well, not being able to keep out those goals. Everton, we were sacked from with 2 games to go. Now, I think this was probably an issue with, when you sim through, because basically we were sitting 6th and the board called an emergency meeting because they were saying we'd failed to meet one of the objectives, which was to qualify for the Europa League proper. In the 2023-24 season, this is the 21-22, so they were unhappy about something that they wanted us to achieve 2 seasons in advance. When we were sat in 6th, which in the Premier League gives you a place in the Europa League proper. We were sat with 2 games to go, and even if it wasn't, due to FA Cup or whatever, which it didn't matter in the end, we were still within touching distance of Chelsea. So the sacking was very, very uncalled for, and I think, obviously we didn't attend the emergency meeting because we were on holiday, so we just got sacked as a result of that. And as it was, they sacked us for something that that was achieved anyway. So that was really stupid. Everton reached the semi-finals of the FA Cup, but they got knocked out in extra time by Liverpool. Obviously, as we saw, Calvert-Lewin got the most most goals. Clear winner there on the goal scoring charts. You got like 6 in one game, for example, against Crystal Palace as the advanced forward. So yeah, let's look at the individual team performances. Liverpool got the most goals at 96 and Everton came 4th in that one. So as you can see, Spurs, we were sacked. So I've not gone into like much depth in here, but as you can see, Harry Kane only got 3 more goals between December or January and the end of the season, and Dele Alli only got 1 more. Just shows that before we got sacked, they were in the goals, and then the tactic changed when they brought in a new manager and they just absolutely dipped. So we look at Everton. I'm not really counting the sacking, to be honest with you, because I think it was a bit of a glitch in the game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 43 goals in 43 games with 12 assists. Damari Gray, he played as the shadow striker. He got 8 goals and 16 assists. Richarlison as the inside forward, 12 goals and 8 assists. Andros Townsend with 10 goal contributions in 44 games in the inverted winger role. And Luca Dean with 11 assists in 42 games. Norwich. Unfortunately, Norwich were relegated. Timo Pukki, you can't see that. He got 2 assists and 22 goals. Billy Gilmore got 11 goals and 11 assists and 12 goals in 40 games. He was the box-to-box. He had an absolute stunning season in that role. Todd Cantwell as the shadow striker. Christos Solis as the inside forward on the left. And Milo Rashica as the out-and-out winger on the right-hand side. Then we come to the Serie A. So we were sacked by Napoli in the February. Fiorentina, we stayed in the job. And Venezia, unfortunately did get relegated. Inter got the most goals with 82. Fiorentina came 4th, joint 3rd on 73 with Napoli in 5th. But like I said, I'm not going to set much by the Napoli one because we did get sacked by them, with quite a substantial bit of the season. It was literally like end of January, start of Feb. They just weren't happy because they were set outside the league. That is one thing I did notice, is that overall this tactic didn't yield as good a results in the Italian leagues it did elsewhere. And speaking to some of the people in Jake Cooper's Discord, we were saying, it might be because the Italian mentality is very much defensive, 5 at the back, and maybe a sort of more attacking formation, like attacking tactic, might struggle to break that down. Certainly not for Vlahovic, though. 42 goals in 39 games. The other standout performers were, obviously, as we said, Callahan and Biragi leading the assists. Giacomo Bonaventura, who played him as the shadow striker, and Nicolas Gonzalez was the inside forward on the left-hand side. Napoli, obviously, we were sacked. I just thought I'd throw in a few of the stats. We played Osimhen as the Osimhen as the advanced forward, and Dries Mertens as the shadow striker. Osimhen was on 19 goals at the point that we got sacked, and Dries Mertens was on about 10, so they didn't do much better after he went. Insigne, probably the one who sort of carried on to an extent, but he was on about just under 10 goals in January, so he didn't do much better after we went. Politano did well in the assists, in the assists chart, but otherwise, wasn't that successful with Napoli. Nor was it particularly successful with Venezia, who obviously got relegated. But a few good performances across the board. Dan Heymans played as the shadow striker. We missed Cain and Okereke, who went away in January to the African Cup of Nations. They were the standout performers for Venezia that season. So that brings us on to part 2 of the test, where what we did was plugged in the same tactic, but in one club from each of the top 5 leagues. First up was Chelsea. Now, in the Premier League, they didn't do that well. They came 6th. They did reach the semi-final of the Champions League, where they got knocked out by Ajax, of all teams. 5th round in the FA Cup, 3rd round of the Carabao, and runner-up in the Super Cup. But they did get 94 league goals, which was first for the league. Individual stats, don't worry, I appreciate this is probably not going to be that easy for you to see. This was more just for me in terms of reading out the data. Romelu Lukaku got 77 goals in 58 games with 9 assists. Timo Werner is the inside forward on the left-hand side, 13 goals and 18 assists. Same output for Kai Havertz as the shadow striker. Pulisic, 17 goals and 6 assists. That was enough for him to also end up finishing the Champions League as the top assist provider with 8. Lukaku, needless to say, top goal scorer in the Premier League and top goal scorer in the Champions League. Mason Mount had a stormer. He didn't necessarily start that regularly. He played as an inside forward at times. 12 assists, 4 goals. Reece James on the wing back. Fullback on the right-hand side with 18 assists, and Jorginho as the box-to-box got the 12 assists as well. When we look at Lukaku, who did get the Ballon d'Or, everyone, he got the Ballon d'Or. He got 51 goals in his 38 Premier League games, and he got something like 16 goals in the Champions League. Absolute monster of a season for Lukaku. Absolutely stormed it. Now, when we look at PSG, this is where it gets really spicy. Invincible season for PSG, unbeaten, scoring a whopping 135 goals across the season. They won Ligue 1, understandably. They came second, reached the semi-final in the Champions League, where they got knocked out by the eventual winners in Manchester United, I believe it was. Won the Coupe de France and won the Trophée des Champions, with special mention going to Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi. Mbappe with 68 goals and 11 assists in 52 games, and Messi getting 28 assists and 30 goals. We played Messi as the shadow striker, with Di Maria as the inverted winger on the right and Neymar as the inside forward on the left. Mauro Icardi also was absolutely banging in the goals. He came in, as you can see, 32 appearances, 24 as a sub. Absolutely stormed it. Marco Verratti with 20 assists as well, and Achraf Hakimi and Nuno Mendes getting 27 assists between them from the wings. Honestly, this tactic seemed to just absolutely work a treat for PSG. Just absolutely blew everyone away, apart from in the semi-final. Mbappe, as you can see, 52 goals in the league, and he got 6 in the Champions League, but he also got 10 in the Coupe de France on the way to PSG winning that one. And we're just going to look at Lionel Messi's stats in 35 Ligue 1 appearances, 18 assists, 16 goals, 6 assists and 6 goals and 4 assists in the Champions League. We then did it with Bayern Munich, who got 99 goals in the league, which ranked them first. They came first in the Bundesliga. They got knocked out in the Champions League group, but then they went and won the Europa League, semi in the Deutsche Pokal, and won the Deutsche Super Cup. Individual stats: Lewandowski, 83 goal contributions in 54 games, with Thomas Muller as the shadow striker getting 31. Serge Gnabry as the inside forward on the left, and Leroy Sané on the right-hand side as the inverted winger. Joshua Kimmich getting 21 assists as the ball-winning midfielder, which I thought was really impressive, to be fair. Lewandowski finished top goal scorer in the Bundesliga, as you'd expect with that record of 40, I think it was like 49 goals or something like 45 goals in the league. And he got 11 goals in the Europa League in 9 Europa League games, so he finished top goal scorer in the Europa League as well. We then also ran it with Inter Milan, who were top of Serie A for most of the season and then slipped up at the end and came second to AC Milan. And they got knocked out in the first knockout round by, I think it was maybe United again. They won the Coppa Italia, runner-up in the Italian Super Cup, and they also got the most goals in the league with 97, thanks in part to Lautaro Martinez with 51 goals and 47 appearances. Hakan Çalhanoğlu I think he played as the shadow striker, getting an absolute storming 19 goals and 18 assists. Joaquin Correa, he came in off the left-hand side. And who did we play on the right? Who was it? You know what? I can't even remember now who played on the right-hand side. Sanchez. Played Sanchez on the right as a winger. 13 assists and 3 goals. Federico Di Marco must not go unnoticed. We're getting 14 assists from the left-back position. Barella with 11 assists. And we played him as the BBM with Arturo Vidal as the ball-winning midfielder. Quick look at Martinez, 35 goals in 34 league games. He was the top goal scorer in the Serie A. And he also came second in the Champions League, considering they got knocked out in the first knockout round, is very impressive. Shows how good his form was early on in the competition. We then did it with Barcelona. I did debate doing it with Real Madrid, but we went with Barcelona because obviously, Barcelona, as we all know, a bit of a rebuild, need a bit of work at the moment. So I thought, let's see how this tactic does with them. You know what? I think for Barcelona, considering the current state of their squad and a lot of off-field issues, I think it didn't do too badly. I think with a couple of seasons and some good recruitment, it could be a really effective tactic. They came fourth in La Liga. They got knocked out in their group of the Champions League and reached the quarters of the Europa League, where they got knocked out by Benfica. Runners-up in the Copa del Rey and runner-up in the Supercopa de España. 70 goals was enough to get them third in the goal-scoring charts in the league. Individual stats, we had Aguero as the advanced forward, getting 27 goals. Memphis Depay getting 21 goals and 16 assists as the shadow striker. We played Pedri on the left as an inside forward, and we played Ousmane Dembele when he was fit on the right-hand side as a winger. And then what we did was, actually, because I jumped in partway through the season because I needed to change it so that the assistant picked the squad that I had selected, because in the first part of the test I was worried that some of the performances were dipping off because they were just playing everyone regardless of how fit or unfit they were. So I said, oh yeah, just use the tactic, but have a bit of license with the lineup, thinking that they would just not pick them if they were knackered. But as it was, they then just kind of picked their own team and fit them in. So when I jumped in, we had Ousmane Dembele and Ansu Fati back from injury. So we played Fati on the left, Dembele on the right, and we dropped Pedri in as the BBM. And we played the likes of Busquets and Frenkie de Jong as the ball-winning midfielder. Jordi Alba got 12 assists from the left-back position. So yeah, overall, I think it was a very successful tactics test. Don't get me wrong, it's by no means perfect. We didn't clean sweep trophies everywhere, but we had some really surprising outcomes, and a lot of players and a lot of clubs did do really, really well out of it. That is the end of the tactics test. We have called it the goal machine, and let me know if you agree down below with my opinion on that tactic. Yeah, I really enjoyed doing this, and if you have as well, please do leave a comment down below. I've kind of got a bit of a bug for trying different video types now after doing this, so I'll probably look to do a few rebuilds, those sort of videos in the future. As a result, let me know if there's a particular team you want me to look into doing a rebuild with. I'll let you guys pick that one, and yeah, we'll take it from there. But yeah, thanks again for watching, everyone. It means so much, and stay safe.